In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up PartyCAD to use files that are on Microsoft's OneDrive. Before we do that, though, let's make sure you understand how OneDrive works. If you have a file named Bob on your computer and you move that file into your OneDrive folder, the system copies the file up to the cloud and leaves a reference to it in your OneDrive folder. The actual data is up on the cloud, and these are just pointers up to the cloud. The Bob file is no longer on machine 1, but is accessible because it's listed in the OneDrive folder. This is what's called a super file and is very good for backing up files onto the cloud and removing them from your computer, thus saving space. PartyCAD can't work with these super files. It needs an offline version of the file. So you can come here and mark the file as available offline. When I do that, OneDrive copies the file from the cloud down to the local machine. And so there's now 2 copies of the data. Bob on the local machine is taking space, and Bob up in the cloud is taking space. Here on machine 2, though, we still have just a reference to Bob up on the cloud. I can, however, move to machine 2 and mark Bob as being available offline on this machine as well. So now I have 3 copies of my Bob file. There's one on machine 1, on machine 2, and furthermore up in the cloud. If I make changes to Bob on this machine, OneDrive takes care of moving the changes up to the cloud, and on the other machine, we'll move the revised copy down. It's all sort of wonderful, I think, but the important thing to remember is this. For PartyCAD to work with files on OneDrive, they must be available offline. I'll show you this in action now. The first thing we need to do is set up a folder in our OneDrive. So let's go out there. If I click here, I can see my OneDrive icon, and I'm just going to drag it down and put it on my taskbar so that I can see it all the time. If I right-click on this and then click Open OneDrive in File Explorer, that will show me what's on my OneDrive. I'll make a subfolder in this OneDrive folder, and I'll call it PartyCAD OD for PartyCAD OneDrive. I'll create a link to this on my desktop to make it easy to get there in the future. And I'll close it. So there I now have 3 places I can look. I could run PartyCAD. I could look at my PartyCAD files on the local machine, which are here. I could also look at PartyCAD OD on the OneDrive folder. To set this up to work, the OneDrive folder must have a resources folder, and the best way to handle that is to right-drag the resources folder from your My PartyCAD Files folder and copy it onto the OneDrive. What's in resources? Well, the forms that you've set up are there, any templates you saved, and also your global data, furniture that you've saved, the most recent tents that you've worked with, things like that. PartyCAD needs this subfolder to work. In addition, I'll put a copy of this India 13 project out here. Notice I copied again. This way I'm not risking anything. I still have India 13 right here in my PartyCAD files, and I also have it on OneDrive. All right, then what I'll do is I'll go up a level, and here's my PartyCAD OneDrive folder. I'm going to right-click this and click Make Available Offline. This is a very important step. Down here at the bottom, you'll see that Windows is syncing up the files between the local copy and the one up on the OneDrive. When it stops winking, then it's up to date. You can put your mouse over this and it'll tell you that the files are up to date. Also, if you're wondering, did I make this available offline? If you come to your OneDrive and just click on it, down at the bottom here, it'll say available offline. Let's look at the bingo folder, and you'll notice it does not say that. So the bingo files, the files in the bingo folder, are only available on the OneDrive. They're super files. So to reiterate, your PartyCAD folder must be available offline. All right, we'll go down into that. Up here, we'll right-click and copy the address of this folder as text onto the clipboard. We'll shut this down. We'll shut this down. Now, I open PartyCAD 12. I click Manage Locations, and that brings me to the Locations menu. I'm going to set up the OneDrive to be in the Other slot. I could do it into either Remote or Other. I'm going to paste the text that I copied a minute ago. So this is just the address of the PartyCAD OneDrive folder. I'm going to check mark here to tell PartyCAD to use it. I'm going to say that by default, if I create a new project, I want it to be placed in that Other folder. Other is OneDrive. And any new resources I create, like if I save a piece of furniture or make a new form, I'll also save that to the OneDrive location. Okay, I'm all set up and ready to use my OneDrive. If I click Other Projects, it shows me India 13 out there on OneDrive. If I double click it, it opens. And here it is. If I make a change to this, Edit Design, I'll just move this guy up here, click Return. When I get out of PartyCAD and save that, we'll see that down here at the bottom, you saw that icon wink a little as it synced the OneDrive to the version of the file up in the cloud. That's all there is to it. To set up another machine to access this, all you need to do is on the second machine. So we'll go here, right-click, open OneDrive, and then you will see this folder there. You'll right-click that and you'll say Make Available Offline. You'll then go into that folder, right-click here to get its address, then run PartyCAD on the second machine, go to Manage Locations, and set it up so it looks just like so. Make sure to mark these check marks. They're important. They tell PartyCAD which folders to include. Other, if you want new resources to be stored on the OneDrive. The advantage to this is if you save a new project on the OneDrive, if you add a form, if you add a piece of furniture, it's automatically going to show up on other machines that are attached to your OneDrive cloud storage. Okay, that should be enough to get you started.